Hey everyone, today we're in for a treat because I'm so proud to present just an amazing mentor. His name is Eben Pagan, a man who's regarded as just one of the early pioneers when it comes to digital marketing. And he has created like this amazing range of online products and courses. And he's actually an influencer for a lot of like top digital marketers. He has built a multi-million-dollar virtual empire, and he currently employs 75 individuals from across the globe. And his expertise in business and marketing is actually sought out by people like Tony Robbins and Sir Richard Branson. And just personally, what I really love about Eben is that he's just so passionate about the coaching profession, and he's making such a difference in this space in general. And as a coach, if we work collectively and we see how we can grow the overall space, that is where the magic happens. And for me, Eben is an personification of that. I've had the privilege of listening to Eben when he talked about AI in a high-level mastermind about 6 to 7 months ago. And that was a turning point for me where I said, I have to learn this. So without further ado, and his backstory is hugely inspiring, and we are getting right into it. Eben Pagan, great that you're here.
Great to be here, Danny. Yeah, great to have this conversation.
Eben, I love your backstory, and one of the things that I've heard is that you said that over a decade ago that you were first introduced to the potential of information products, right, by a close friend of yours. And talk a little bit about what happened next, because that's a fascinating story.
Yeah. Well, it actually, with information products, it's probably closer to 25 or 30 years ago. I got into the real estate industry, and I had been a long-haired rock and roll guitar player. And so then I got into real estate. And so here I am with a ponytail and a Camaro trying to get people to buy houses. And no one was interested in buying a house from a long-haired rocker in a Camaro. And so that led me ultimately to, after struggle, to find sales and marketing. And when I found sales and marketing, that's when I learned about direct response marketing, and then learned that people sell courses and you can buy their program and you can pay to get their knowledge. And then I just went through different adventures in my life. My general approach is I try to learn as much as I can about how to be successful. And I found that by learning an area and then teaching it and creating a course on it, and then doing that every year or two or however, I've just been able to build a really successful life. And so in my late 20s, I was single. So I went and learned about how to get a date. And then my good friend, Dean Jackson, had been publishing programs and books online and had figured out online marketing, and he showed me how to do it. And I put the two together. I wrote a book of dating advice. I literally locked myself in my bedroom. I took 3 weeks to write a book of dating advice. And then I put it online and started offering it, and just, figured out how to make a website, and figured out how to do pay-per-click marketing, and figured out how to do all these things. And then it turned into a big success. I went on to then teach entrepreneurship and become an investor. And now I've been teaching coaches for 6 or 7 or 8 years, and I'm just interested in everything. I'm really interested in how to live a successful life, how to build a successful business, how to have a successful family, how to make a difference, and coaching is kind of right at the heart of it.
I love it. You have built like a massive empire, and you have been teaching from wealth creation, right, like to the mindset stuff, to building a coaching business, like basically really comprehensive, set of tools for everyone to win in business and life, right? But can you take us back to that first moment where you actually made your first sale? Like, do you remember that moment, and how did that make you feel?
Oh, yeah. With selling online stuff. Well, I'll say this. I first became a coach and consultant when I was about 26. And I can remember my very first client that I got, because I had originally gotten, learning about sales and marketing in the real estate industry, and I was horrified. I tried every technique. I tried ads and mailers and knocking on people's doors and calling them and all this stuff. And literally none of it ever worked. And then I can remember when I first learned about how to do consultative sales, where you ask a person about their needs. I know this is a total shocker, but it's like you ask them what they need and then you offer them what you have to fulfill their needs rather than just trying to sell them. And then it worked. And I got my first client there. And then when I wrote my first book and put it online, yeah, I remember looking at my shopping cart and seeing that someone had bought my book. It was $29.95. And it's like, oh my gosh. And then a few months later, I would sell a book or two every day or two, or here and there, I would have a sale. And then a few months later, I had this really transformational moment, which is I raised the price of the book from $29.95 to $39.95. And then I went and left for the day. And I checked later that afternoon and I had sold 10 copies at the increased price. So I had my best day of sale and I had raised the price by 33%. And, I did the math and I was like, okay, $400. If I did this every day, that's $12,000 a month. Oh my, I was like, I'm free. But it just, when you raise the price of something and then you sell more of it, it switches your perspective. You say, wait, maybe things don't work the way that I think they work. And that's just led me on a whole quest to understand value and what is it that people value, and how do they decide what to spend money on, and how can you provide a huge amount of value? And so I'm fascinated with value.
Absolutely love it. When I think about value, I have to think about you, because you had a YouTube clip up like 10 years ago now. I think it was 2013 when you talked about the power of like moving the free line, and just share a little bit about that, because I really think that it's more important than ever, like in this time. So,
yeah. Well, we all come from a lineage of people, and then before that, animals, if you buy into evolution, that survived. Up until very recently, 4 out of 5 of us humans died before we reached adulthood. I mean, most animals don't survive to adulthood. So we are paranoid, we're fearful, we're skittish, we're vigilant, because, only the paranoid survived. And so we tend to have a scarcity mentality. We're twice as motivated to avoid loss as we are to gain something, right? This is Kahneman and Tversky's work with prospect theory. And so most people once they get something, they don't want to let it go. We'll do twice as much to hold on to something as we'll do to get it in the first place. We have a big fear of loss. So when most people go online and they start teaching, when they start creating courses, when they start making videos, they tend to think, well, I don't want to share my secrets with anyone. Like, I don't want to tell anyone my good stuff here. But the problem there is that when you're online, it's a world of abundance. It's not a world of scarcity. Okay, you're not dealing with a bunch of people who are sitting around going, well, what am I going to watch? Okay, you're dealing with a massive deluge, like a tidal wave of knowledge and information. So you actually have to share your best ideas if you want anyone to even pay attention, right? So moving the free line is the simple idea that in the past, it cost a lot to make a course, write a book, publish a video, make an audio program. And so therefore you'd have to charge a lot for it, because to get a client, you'd have to send it to them in the mail and so forth. Well, now I can create a whole course, in a day or two, and I can publish it online and I can make it free. So those things that used to cost a lot to make are now very inexpensive to make. And so now what we want to do is move the line of things that we used to sell. So now we give away the types of things that we would have sold in the past. And we do this in order to get more clients, in order to get more attention, get more people to join our list, more people to follow us. And then we follow up over time and we build relationships with those people. And that's how you can build a much more scalable client getting system.
Yeah, absolutely love it. And it also allows you to increase your prices like further on, right? So that your overall customer lifetime value like goes up. I absolutely love that concept. So exactly. I hope you're okay if I ask you 2 questions, which are not coming from me, but from my audience, because my audience was super excited. And if you're hearing this, like, I hope you can comment or whatever platform you're watching this, because this is fire. What is happening here? So Tina is saying, I don't really like social media and I don't know so many people. So how do I find clients? Like where to even start? What would you
Uh-huh.
say to Tina?
Yeah, I call it anti-social media personally. And truth be told, I was just on the phone with one of the very big social media companies yesterday, getting very upset with them because I get it. Okay. So here's what I would say to do. Don't think of it as social media. Okay. Because like I said, I kind of think of it as anti-social media. It comes between us and our relationships. Think of it as a place to share the best of what you've learned in life. Okay. To share it. Stop worrying about what anybody thinks and just use it as a place to practice sharing. Every day, go online, turn on your phone, turn on your camera for 1 or 2 minutes, and just talk about the most valuable things you've ever learned in your life. Do it every day for 30 days and don't worry about whether anybody watches or what anyone says, because use it for yourself. Use it to grow yourself into practice. And guess what? After you go for a week or two and you get through all the uncomfortable, where's the camera and how do I upload this thing and how do I edit it or whatever you want to do, after you do it for a week or two, it's going to start to become more natural. And by the end of the time, by the end of 30 days, you're going to have a bunch of people who are going to be saying, thank you so much for this. And then that will start to kind of boost and it'll become a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what I would say.
That's so powerful. That's awesome. Verena is asking, as a coach who's quite introverted, I find it challenging to put myself out there, right? Especially in public speaking and video content. What are some of your insight and on developing a bulletproof mindset for selling and content creation? Do you have any recommendations for people that are more introverted in nature like mine?
I am highly introverted. Okay, if everybody in the industry, they all know that I kind of hide out. I don't show up very often. I went to a mastermind that we had here just recently, and the person there was saying, I know you don't, you never come out to anything. And so, so and I'm serious about this. I know that I seem kind of animated and extroverted, but this is all just developed over time. So if you're really introverted, here's what I would say. Look around your life right now and think about the things that you want in your life and think about the things that are holding you back in your life. And then I want to ask, if you developed your ability to speak, to teach, right, to go on stage, to go online, if you develop that as an ability and you practiced intentionally for several weeks to months to just get comfortable doing it, would that enhance your whole life? And the answer is probably yes. I mean, it really has for me. Even though I spend a lot of my time alone, I need a lot of recovery time and, alone time and so forth. To be able to do what we're doing right here, right? To be able to turn the lights on, flip on my camera, do an interview like this. I mean, just think, once this is finished, I'll turn everything off and I'll go back to the work that I'm doing here. But now I'm able to go reach all these people because I was able to flip the camera on and do it. So go learn the skills, right? They'll help you across your whole life, socially, your family, your business. Yeah, it's worth learning.
Yeah, absolutely love that. So we could go on for a long time, but I want to talk about two things. There is the realization that you had where you realized that you were a coach, right? That moment you talked about that it was your through line. Like, how did that make you feel? Just in a word, if that's possible. Like, what did that do for you?
Coaching for me leads to fulfillment. Like, it leads to a more complete feeling of being successful in my life. I've done a lot of other things, but there's something about coach that resonates with me. There's something about being a coach that it's, being an entrepreneur, yes, and it resonates with me being an entrepreneur. Even being an artist or being a teacher, these different, they resonate, but they don't have that kind of quality of, it's not just me, it's about other people. And it's about measuring my success by the success of the other people that I help to become successful. Yeah.
We are a guide, right, for others. And that's super powerful. What I notice is that there's a lot of my audience who's who is quite allergic to cold outreach, right? And you mentioned that at some point it also made you sick in your stomach, right? Like when at your very early stages. Is cold outreach, does it still have a place in coaching? Because we're bombarded on Messenger with like, how do you see cold outreach?
Well, just like these other things we're talking about, they're skills to work on. The reason why most of us don't like to do quote unquote cold outreach is just because we have social fears, right? So like social media or like speaking or like, any of these skills we're talking about, go practice it anyway. Don't do it just to get coaching clients or to build your business. Do it because it's going to empower you. It's going to make you stronger. When I'm out with my daughter, and we're walking around, I like her to see that I can walk over and start a conversation with anyone. And then I encourage her to go over and ask questions and to get over that fear that somehow there's something wrong if I go talk to a person. And so do it for your own development, and then you'll be able to help a lot more people.
I love that. I had my kids actually going door by door to sell their like local soccer club like tickets. So that absolutely love that, like as to build that muscle and skill. So finally, you're great at seeing where the puck is going, right? Like, so what is the future of coaching? And talk a little bit about a future coach and the Coach Expo, if you may.
Sure. Well, the future of coaching is that it's going to be massive, because coaching is a skill that all of us need to learn. It's not just a skill that professional coaches need to learn. I don't care if you're, a manager, if you're an entrepreneur, if you work on a team, if you're a philanthropist, if you're a scientist. Once you learn the skill set that is coaching, it's an accelerator for everything that you do, because you learn to be basically a professional friend, a professional collaborator, a professional facilitator. It's a whole set of skills, and there are a bunch of different sets of them. And once you start learning them, if you're the kind of person that likes to help other people succeed, if you get fulfillment from that, and you want to do that professionally, then it's not even optional. Leadership is becoming about coaching everywhere. And so we have a program called The Future Coach, where my wife, Annie, and we teach mostly educated, intelligent professionals who have had lives and careers. We teach them how to either launch their coaching business and find their niche and get clients, or if they're already successful coaches, to kind of come and get a brain dump from us on what we've learned in 40 years of being really successful coaches. And we've taught thousands, I've probably had 10,000 coaches go through my programs over the years. So we just have a lot of experience, and we love helping coaches. And also we have AI tools and just all the latest cutting edge stuff. And so if you're serious about this, then, join the Future Coach with us, spend 6 weeks, get the download. It'll absolutely change your life, help you get more clients, build your confidence, help you become a lot more credible, just generally blow up your life in the most positive way.
Yeah, guys, I've actually had the privilege of having a peek behind the scenes, and I am mind blown. I mean, again, I want to thank you for exposing me to the world of AI about 7 months ago. I haven't looked back. What I've seen is just phenomenal. So everyone, like, jump on the opportunity. Eben Pagan, I want to thank you on behalf of my entire audience. Thank you so much for being with us and generously sharing your time. You are an inspiration, and I love your contribution to our profession.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you so much.